Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all our viewers and learners in this live phone-in session of CIET NCERT named webinar. I am Renu Bhatt with you all, and you are watching us live on eVidya channel from channel number 6 to 12 and on our NCERT official YouTube channel as well. Dear learner, as you know, we are celebrating Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas in collaboration with ISEA CDAC in order to create cyber safety awareness among all of us. The topic that we are going to discuss today in this specific webinar is ethics social media platform, but let me share the theme of the month of the March is ethics in emerging digital space, and today is third day of our online training session. You can also participate in this particular online training session and you can register yourself for the quiz as well, and we will be announced quiz very soon. But before that, you need to register yourself. You have to go to our website, that is CIET, and we have our expert with us. Let's meet him. You are Mr. Jagdish Babu. You are project manager from CDAC METI, Government of India. Very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And let me share some information about our expert. You also work as assistant project manager for national project called India Development Gateway, the Government of India. You also create cyber safety and security awareness through various modes, and we are looking forward to learn a lot of things from you, sir. But before that, let me share some very important information to all our viewers and learners. In case they have any query or they want to know more about ethics of social media platforms, please, dear learners and viewers, feel free to connect to us through our various medium. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop an email at our email address, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in with all your queries. In case if you want to ask about our quiz as well, feel free to connect to us with your feedbacks. And if you have joined us through our live streaming, that means you are on our NCERT official YouTube channel. Dear learners and viewers, you have to go to the live chat box and then you have to drop your comment out there. Our expert will be happy to answer all your queries and doubts if you have any. And before I start this session, let me share a very important piece of information regarding India's G20 presidency. We are indeed very proud that India assumed G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation that deeply committed towards democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of all. And in doing so, manifests the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or we can say the whole world is one family. With that very important piece of information, without any further delay, let's quickly start this session. And sir, as the topic itself suggests, that we are going to learn and know more about ethics of social media platform. Need not to say and emphasize on the fact that we are living in a digital world where we need and we use frequently social media platform, but we are not aware of all those ethics. So we are very curious to know about the ethics about social media platforms, sir. What are those? Please explain to us, sir.
Alright, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to interact with all of you. So, as Madam mentioned, like we have celebrating this year, we are celebrating as a G20. As part of the G20, like Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, as implementing the Stay Safe Online campaign from December to November 2023.
Right.
So, as part of that, like we are also associated with NCERT, and we thank NCERT for associating and creating this kind of awareness among all the users. So as part of that, like we are doing so many activities. I'm just going to list out some of the activities as part of these things, like what are we doing and how do you secure yourself on these social media platforms and all such kind of things, right? So as part of G20, we are organizing the Stay Safe Online campaign, and as part of the Stay Safe Online campaign, like today we are organizing this thing. So let me give a brief introduction about this Stay Safe Online campaign. So basically it is a campaign used to raise the awareness among the various user groups. It could be all the children, like children, students, women, senior citizen, teacher, faculty, general public, everyone, like all the stakeholders we are trying to cover as part of this campaign to create awareness among the various users. As we all know, so the usage of electronic gadgets went up like anything, and the internet penetration is very high. And the digital transactions are also, we are doing number of digital transactions. keeping all those things that as a whole, like awareness is very very essential. As we all evident, like there are a number of cyber crimes which are increasing day by day. To keep ourselves safe from all these things, we need to follow some of these ethics to safeguard our hard-earned money, and to safeguard our our reputation, and to safeguard all our properties which we are using on various on various platforms. So that, like, we are doing this awareness campaign. So that is the awareness campaign which we are doing. So as part of this campaign, like, we were creating a lot of infographics, which I'm going to show it to you. Some of the infographics which we can use it for, create awareness among the various stakeholders. So as many of the audience today attending are students and teachers. So I request all the teachers, please use these creatives which we are doing and assets which we are doing. You can use it for creating awareness among all the students and co-teachers and co-faculties and all that things. So that is one thing. And secondly, like, we are also using the extensive use of social media platforms. We are also using all the social media platforms to create this awareness. These users are also segregated into various platforms. To address all such kind of needs, we are using various social media platforms in regional languages to create this awareness. And we are also using the print and electronic media to run this campaign and create this awareness. So this is about this Stay Safe Annual campaign, and these are the some topics which we are talking about. Every day new topics will come, and if you click on any of the topic, and you will be redirected to a lot of infographic information, videos, all such kind of things are there to get awareness on these things. As we all know, like, March month we are observing as a Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas, and we were this month the theme is ethics in the emerging digital space. As we all know, every day the digital space is emerging like anything. So to address all such kind of needs, so we were implementing the Cyber Jaagrookta. We are taking this opportunity as a Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas to organize these various sessions. So first we had a panel discussion on the emerging digital space, and last week we have covered the internet ethics for various user groups, and this week we are covering the social media platform. Next week, like, we are covering the e-commerce and banking transactions and online transactions. These are the sessions which we are planned and lined up for all of you as part of this Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. So we are happy to assist, also collaborate with NCERT CIET to organize all these awareness sessions as part of the Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. Right. So you all heard about, like, what is cyber ethics and all the things. So why do we need this cyber ethics? As I told you, everyone, most of the citizens are connected internet, and we are using in and out the internet for various purposes. Either to interact with someone, or to find out, to search something, or to attend classes, to learn something. For all these purposes which we are using this internet. Then while we are using the internet, we also have to follow some of the ethics to protect ourselves from various aspects. So what these ethics will do, we need to have a moral, right, when we are using the internet. So we should use it for our purpose only. We should not use this internet to create some harm to others, right? That way, like, you have to be moral while using the internet, and it will safeguard your financial, whatever the hard-earned money you are doing, so that we can safeguard it. And social behavior of individuals, when we are interacting with some other people, whether, like, they were trying to provoke also, we should not we should not react, and we should proact, like, what are the things they are telling. So we have to keep calm, and we have to maintain that kind of calmness in the social media platforms to safeguard ourselves. We don't know, like, what for they are using, right? We all know, like, this internet is a great way to get onto the net, right? So earlier we don't have the internet, so we all leading peaceful, but this is beautiful technology which we are using for various purposes by sitting at single location. So that way, like, we have to use internet ethically, right? We are using internet for each and every purposes. So, like, that is my quote there. Internet is a great way to get on net. Okay, so that is only the tool which we are using as a tool to connect, to learn, and to share whatnot, to entertain yourself or to entertain others. Every purposes we are using all these things, right? So what these ethics covers, and it will give you a good good life, right? If something goes wrong, we will be in deep trouble. So to avoid all such kind of things, it also, if you follow these ethics, you can lead a good life. And our rights and responsibilities, like, what are the rights which we are using while the internet? No, we can use internet, but ethically we should use. Using internet is not an issue. using internet ethically, which is very, very important to all of us, right? So that is our responsibility also. The language which we use is also right or wrong. So some of the people will tell you like whether we are, if at all if we are arguing, so sometimes we will use some vulgar language, bad language kind of thing. So that should not happen. So we should have to have good ethics to follow all these things. And moral decisions, what is good or bad, right? Before you add something, see for example, you have received some message, right? We don't know like what is the truth of that message, whether it is a true or false. So before we forwarding, you have to think twice before you forward. So that is also one good ethic, right? So that is what adopt kind of their behavior while interacting with others and online, right? So this is very, very important. We are all connecting with the internet, so this is very, very important. Today we live in a digital world, right? And most of our relations have moved to chats, messages, social media, and many other ways, and on online communication. I think almost all the users like who are attending the session may agree with this thing, right? Today, like whatever we are doing, everything we are doing online only, right? So unplug yourself from the social media to excel in academy also, right? So if at all if you are using more and more internet without giving the gap kind of thing, we are also seeing a lot of print and electronic media. So many people are addicting to the internet, addicting to the mobile devices and all those kind of things. And like we are also seeing some worse situations like what is going on in the world, right? So we can use it precisely, ethically, internet for various purposes. At the same time, since most of you are attending from the school, teachers and students, so if you unplug yourself, use social media. We are not against that. Use social media platform for stipulated period of time, not continuously at 24/7, right? So that is the reason like which we wanted to say. So cyber ethics, like what it will teach us. It will teach us to behave, the morally and legally. Like when we are using the content and all the things, we have to use them legally, and social issues. And if there are some issues, how to address, how to learn, how to behave, all those things also we can learn from these internet ethics are related to the digital technology. So the technology is there. Technology is only a tool. It is not going to replace anything. It is not going to replace our life. It is only a tool. So we have to use tool as a tool only. It is become a part and parcel of our life. But that doesn't mean that it is 100%. The technology is 100%. The technology is an assisting tool to smoothen our transactions, smoothen our learning, whatnot, all those things. So that way you use ethically for those things. And it also covers such as online privacy. So we all started using these things. Initially we don't have that kind of issues, but nowadays the cybercrime is increasing on various on various ways. So online privacy and security is very, very important while you are in a social media. And cybercrime is going up. Like anything, intellectual property, digital citizenship, right? So you received a link. Will you click on that link or not? So whenever you are receiving any link, right, that you have to think twice whether should I open or should I copy paste the link, or should I not attend that link at all, right? Those things you have to be carefully think about these things. Receive the link, don't click, act cautiously. So you whatever the thing you are receiving, ensure that came from an authenticated source or the authorized source before you act. Whenever you are acting, you have to act smartly. Some of the examples also I am going to show it during my presentation. So these are the various code of ethics which we will normally follow as part of our daily life, business, and all those things. In the same way, in the internet also, we have to be more responsible, and we have to fair enough. More responsible in the sense, what I mean to say is, like whenever you are interacting with the people, or whenever you are asking something, or whenever you are buying something, or whenever you are giving the feedback, and all such kind of things, like you have to be responsibly act on all those aspects, and be fair. Do not try to harm anyone, and be honest. Like what are the messages? For example, you are only a 13-year-old, but you should not say 18-year-old. Okay, since you are not 18-year-old, you are not allowed to use any of the social media platforms. So be ethical. If at all, if you are doing something, try to use your parent, ask your parents to learn those things, but don't do any such kind of things. To be honest and be accurate. Like as I told you, like what are the information which we are saying. If it is accurate, communicate. If it is not accurate, if you are not very sure, and if at all if you don't know anything, So try to keep it aside instead of all those things, right? Be independent, right? When you are in the cyberspace, try to be independent, so that whatever you think, you can message it, but you should not influence by other people. Try to post their thoughts on your behalf. Don't never ever do like that. Like whatever you feel like, you share it, but don't share other thoughts on their behalf, right? So minimize the harm, never ever do the harm, not minimize, never ever do the harm to anyone, and be accountable. This is very, very, very important. Like whatever we are doing, so be accountable when you are internet, while usage, communication, while doing any transactions, whatnot. So every time you have to be very, very accountable, right? And we all know, like these are the some of the ethics, how we can follow these ethics in the social media platforms also. We can see it here, right? So we all know like what is the meaning of social media and all. So I'm just giving glances. Meeting people on online across the world, wherever you are, you can meet the people across the world, by using these social media platforms. Like what are those? I'm just going to discuss all those aspects, right? Making a friendship with the people who are very far away, and on top of all those things, you can build your profile. So today you need not to go anywhere. By sitting in in a static location, you can make yourself, you can make yourself speaking, or you can make yourself to communicate something, right? So that way, like, you can build your profile, and you also can make your self representation. If something is there, you also can represent, right? There are so many platforms where like a lot of discussions happening. For example, science, SOA, there are so many competitions, platforms, forums are there. There you can represent yourself, and you can build your profile, and you can make your self representation by using these platforms. So whenever you are using, you should use ethically, and you should accountably use those things, right? As I told you, don't copy paste things. Try to show your innovation in showcasing your talent, right? You also can exchange sharing and all such kind of things. We can use it in the social media platforms. So every day, the social media platforms usage is going up, like you can think, and this is the age pattern. Like in the particular age group, the usage is very, very high comparatively, male and female, and all such kind of things. We can have a glance on those things. So highest or maximum used platforms are, these are the platforms which are maximum used by the people for various purposes, right? So these are the various statistics which talks about most used platforms. And at the same time, so this is a cyber threat landscape, right? So we are using, there is no doubt, and we are not against to that. Use it safely, wisely, intelligently, right? So if you see the threat landscape, so maximum is education and research in government and military. So like why people are maximum targeted in the education and research area. So you have to be very, very careful. These are some statistics which will give you an alarming thing. So you have to be very careful while using any of these technologies for educational purposes, right? Sometimes we have used that platform, and you forgot to come out of those things. So anyone can make use of, anyone can misuse that platform. So you have to be very careful, while using these platforms, and we have to reduce this number. Education and research should go last, right? So for that, like, we all should give a hand, and try to be safe on online, right? So we all know like what is the social media and all the things, so which we can connect the people, and which is a communication, and it is a two-way communication, multiple communication. You can interact one-to-one, you can interact multiple people can interact with all of you, and it is a moving from mono language one to many, and many to many. All such kind of things are happening in the social media platforms. Different platforms are used for different purposes, right? Change the people from the content traders into content contributors and publishers, right? As of now, we were consuming a lot of content, but that we have to change our thing. We have to change our attitude. So we have to produce a lot of content in our regional languages, and make the make help to the others to learn those kind of things, right? As we are consumers, we should move two things ahead of it. So from consumers to content contributors and publishers, we should move into that direction. So for that, like, what kind of ethics we have to follow, and for that, like, what kind of content has to be contributed and kept into the various platforms, right? So whatever you are seeing on the social media platform, either true or may not be true. That is what the first image indicates. And second, once posted, it remains for our protect your privacy and things. Once posted in the social media, you cannot, remove that. Once you are posted something and you realize that, so that is not a relevant post. If you want to remove, you will be removing. By that time, we don't know how many people have viewed it or how many people are forwarded. So that's the fastness of the social media. So you have to be very, very careful while you are posting something. If for example, you have written something in the blackboard, you can rub it, no problem. But that is not the same case in the social media platforms. So once you publish something, you can retrieve it, but it will be published and it will be stored somewhere, right? We have to remember all those things carefully when we are using. So these are the different social media platforms where we can use social networks, to connect the people, and where you can, as I told you, we have to move from consumers to contributors and publishers. So there are so many blogs which we can use those platforms to publish your thoughts and give your ideas to the next generation. And instant messaging platforms, whatnot, there are so many instant messaging platforms. So widely used is WhatsApp and micro networks. There is a limitation in the WhatsApp. You can continuously do it, and when it comes to the micro networks, it is a limited amount of content you can contribute or you can discuss and all such kind of things. And content communication, forums and aggregators, as I told you, you can participate, you can make yourself, and you can make yourself represent yourself, and you can build your profile by participating in the forums and the aggregators and all the things. And social and knowledgeable wikis, there are so many social media and knowledge wikis are there where you can contribute yourself. So today if you contribute something, so it will be there in the web somewhere, so it may be useful to someone else. Like whatever today your experiences are there, so those experiences may not be known to most of the people. Like if you express something, so those services or those experiences may be used by the other people also, right? Using all these platforms are very good, but at the same time you have to be careful. Don't announce your whereabouts in social media. For example, right, whether it is a social networking or instant message platforms, whatever it is. So I try to avoid such kind of things, right? Wherever you are today, you are in Delhi, tomorrow you are in Uttarakhand, or tomorrow you are in Hyderabad. So that kind of things you should limit yourself to whom to pass on, to whom not to share such kind of things. You have to take those wisely decisions before we keep something onto any of these social media platforms, right? So don't announce your whereabouts in the social media platforms. Sometimes it may lead to some kind of issues also, right? So social media ethics, it is a communication can happen fast, right? And reputation is at stock, right? So what I mean to say, like if you are loosely kept something in a public platforms, which may be used, in a right direction, or at the same time which can be used in the wrong direction also. I will be showing some of these examples also. So business reputation at stock, not only you, your entire family, your entire organization, your school, entire thing will be at risk. So you have to be very, very careful when you are posting, when you are saying something and all such kind of things, right? So we should not go to that kind of level. We should not go to that kind of level. So keep yourself, minimize in the social networking platforms or wherever you are in the platforms, so that you can safeguard yourself. Safeguard yourself in the sense, it is not only you. You means, your entire family, right? And at the same time, your organization. So if something goes wrong, everyone will be in trouble. That is how, that is what we should avoid when we are using any of these platforms. Sometimes it may lead to blur work and home boundaries, what is acceptable. Sometimes we are also seeing in the print and electronic media. So if it are using something and if it is used in a negative way, so there are some issues which are happening between the family. Sometimes it may lead all those things. Now keep track of your digital footprint, catch the problems early, right? So whatever we are doing, digital footprint is nothing but when you are accessing the internet, right? When you are accessing the internet, some kind of information is already stored in the internet platforms without your knowledge, right? Sometimes you may share, sometimes you may not share, but whatever you are browsing, whatever you are doing, everything is stored in at some location, right? So those things are called digital footprints. So those are in passive, active, and all such kind of things. We should not get into those things. So like we should restrict ourselves to ethics and the privacy and security of various social media platforms. right? I hope you are all able to follow like what I was trying to communicate with all of you, right? So this repetition is very important. If something goes wrong, entire thing will be in trouble, right? So you have to be very careful. So whenever presence in the social media is not an issue at all, but who are viewing your social media information, like you are posting something or like you are sharing something, who are viewing your social media information, and how the social media information is accessed. So how you are accessing that, from where you are accessing, right? Are you accessing in the private room? Are you accessing in the public room? Like public room in the sense like where everyone is sitting. Are you accessing somewhere else, in your private room, wherever it is. So that kind of thing is also very important. What purposes is social information used? For example, there are so many statistics, so much of information is there. Will you able to take the whole information, what is written in the website or in the blog or kind of thing? No, we won't take whatever we wanted to take. So we have to take only that much information, and think yourself before you use that information. So is it right or wrong, right? Then you start using such kind of information. So that is what purposes the social information is used. So for example, you found some information, and the same information you cannot use it for teaching the lesson. You have to judge yourself. This information is there, whether can we use this complete information or not. So that kind of judgment you have to make by yourself. And what are the criteria one use for making judgment about the social media things? The judgment is very important.
Sir,
that is what
here let me tell you that we have only 10 more minutes left for this session, sir.
Okay, sure, thank you. And what is the nature of relationship which we are making on the social media, which is very important. So whenever we are using any social media platforms, what kind of relations, it may lead to some kind of relations, but while you are moving and while you are redirecting such kind of social media relations, you have to be very careful, right? So that is how we can use it. When you are in a social media platforms, what kind of things which are happening? You are sharing information, you are participating in communication, you are searching for something, and during this process, right? Sharing, communicating, searching, during that kind of process, what are the things we are using? We are sharing our age, app, like from where you are accessing that information, check-ins, cookies, all that kind of information you can see, like lot of information is kept into the social media platforms. So those things, how do we safeguard? That is very important. So protect your personal information and restrict sharing and online is always good thing to follow everyone, right? That is what the Stay Safe Online says. So ethical use of social media, self-disclosure. Sometimes you may be using, or sometimes you may not be using. So when you are using the platforms, then a lot of personal information is kept onto the platform. That information is related to either your professional or personal things also. Some of the people are not interested to use the social media platforms also, but listening all other people, they also get motivated and starting use these started using these platforms. So such kind of people have to be very careful. All first time users of the social media platforms or first time users of any internet related or any digital transactions have to be very careful. Non-adapters of social media may feel pursued into the joining, right? So that's what, like, there are so many people, like some of the people are not using those platforms. They should, we should not aggregate them to use this platform, join this platform, join my group, and all such kind of things. While they are joining, so they have to be very careful. That is what I mean to say through this slide, right? Ethical uses of social media. When you are using, as I told you, when you are using we also create a lot of memes and all such kind of things. So when they are using those kind of things, so copyright is also issue. If the owner of that content may sue at any point of time, right? While we are using those things, we have to take the permission. And we have to use that content wisely with appropriate acknowledgements or with appropriate permissions, right? So we have to be very careful what is right, what is wrong, right? Collecting data from the smartphone, such as the location. See, you might be using the smartphone or some of the apps which we have downloaded and which have started using. So all these apps are started collecting your location, search information on your health. So for example, some of the people are also using these health bands, so which collects a lot of information. So where that entire information is going? So what purposes they are using? So everyone says like it is only for your betterment or for your goodness only. We will analyze that data and we will share it. Right? That is happening. But where this data is there? So where that data is going? So for what purposes those people are using this kind of data? So that is also should be thought of before we share that kind of information with any of the platforms kind of thing. Right? So this is very important. Data gathering. So this is how people can gather the data. When you have done, for example, you've done something in an online shopping platform. Lot of data goes, your address, your email ID, your mobile number, your payment details. All this data will goes up, right? So for that, all the platforms are also providing some privacy and security options. Those things you should get into, and you should, safeguard yourself from all such kind of things. For example, this message today morning will I got. Tonight at 9:30 p.m. your electricity connection will be disabled. So will you act or not? Right? That fellow gave one mobile number also to call that number. So we should not get tempted. We know that we are already paid the electricity bill, or you know that you will be paying your electricity bill in a couple of days kind of thing. So that wise decision you should take it and you should act it. For example, when they send a message or when they give some mobile number, don't call them. If at all, if you are calling them, a lot of information they will be asked, right? So those kind of things you have to be very careful, and you also will be getting a lot of links and attachments kind of thing. Now this month we are there celebrating Women's Day. You might have been received a lot of messages. Today morning I saw there is one message which is populating in social media. Those people, electricity department is celebrating their anniversary. Because of that, they are giving some kind of awards and rewards. So will someone will give? No one will give. So never ever believe such kind of things, and never ever click and try to share your information. So you have to be wisely follow all these things. For example, this is a example everywhere I'll give. So one image, you have your photograph which you are uploaded onto the platform. So what kind of information it is giving? We all know that one picture will give you 1,000 words of information. In the same way, the same thing is applicable in the digital world also. Right? Your image, when you are uploading onto the platform, by using this pictomap.com website, it will give you the whole lot of information. Right? So which camera you have used, what is the pixel, what is the file information, when you have taken that picture, and what is the GPS location, top of all those things, location and your address, complete information. Okay? Do you got the point? So whatever we are sharing on the social media platforms, so without removing the GPS information, if at all if you are posting, all this information will goes onto the platforms. So these criminals will collect all this kind of data and they will try to talk to you, right? I know you went to this park or you went to this place. I know you are visiting all these things and all such kind of things. They will try to build a rapport, to sue at after some point of time, not at that point of time, right? So these are the kind of things which happens. So you have to be careful while sharing that information. So how do we remove that information, right? So this is an image. Before you share this image with any platform, the first image is we are ready to share the thing, and the second thing I'm just showing the options, and the third option there is something called location. You have to disable that location before you share that information. If you disable that, so whole lot of information should not go out of your end, right? So this is how you have to do it, right? When you are uploading, we are not restricting to upload images. I also will do that. Upload the images, but try to remove all these locations so that that more information it won't go from your hand, right? That is what we finally wanted to say. So that is one thing. And second thing, here also you have taken something. So when you are sharing this information,
sir, one more minute, sir. Please
okay.
Summarize, sir.
Yeah. So these a lot of things are there. So what I mean to say is these things you have to be very careful. Photographs can be taken, altered, can be misused, and personal information and identifiable personal information, and it may lead to some kind of identity theft. All such kind of things happens. So to avoid I have kept so many slides for all of you. but because of the time, I was not discussing all those things.
Exactly, sir. We have some time restriction. But, sir, we have a question from our viewer. Mr. Ajay Chug is asking you a question that how can a child use social media in a positive manner? What would you like to share, sir?
No, I didn't get you, ma'am. Can you repeat the question
Sir,
again?
one of our viewer, Mr. Ajay Chug, wants to know how can a child use social media in a positive manner, sir?
Yeah, that is what, when you are interacting with the people, it is related to both the people, both source and destination. So when this question is trying to provocating, so we should not provocate yourself and try to calmly, try to give the response, or get rid of that platform, or get out of that chat room kind of thing, so that, like, the discussion won't go further, and you can stop it there, and you can safeguard yourself. Otherwise, if at all, if you are started chatting with him or arguing with them, so during that point of time, they will try to record all these things, and later part they will try to blackmail by using all this kind of information. So to avoid all such kind of things, if some kind of provocating things are happening in any chat rooms or any platforms, we should avoid those things, and we should keep ourselves calm to safeguard ourselves from all those things.
Yes, sir. Any other thing that you want to share, sir? Any other important tips that you want to share with all our viewers? As
Yes.
we are getting a lot of comments for your session, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So, while you are in the social media, everyone can use the social media platforms or instant messaging platforms. So everyone are, suggested to use all the privacy and security options which were provided by the platforms. Use all the security options, use all the privacy options to safeguard yourself, your family, your organization in the cyberspace. So that is what I wanted to communicate. For more information, you can always visit this StaySafeOnline.in website to how to set those privacy and security settings on your social media platforms, on your digital devices, kind of thing, right? So with that, like, we thank each one of you for giving us an opportunity and listening, and giving the comments or asking the number of questions and all such kind of things. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, sir. Pleasure is all ours. Thank you so very much for being with us, sir, and for your insightful session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And dear learners and viewers, thank you so very much for being with us throughout this session. And here I would like to wrap up this session, but you stay tuned to eVidya channels and NCERT official YouTube channel. But before that, let me share a very important piece of information regarding India's G20 presidency. We are indeed very proud that India assumed G20 presidency and will convene the G20's Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation that deeply committed towards democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the well-being of all. And in doing so, manifest the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or we can say the whole world is one family. With that very important piece of information, me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave. But you stay tuned to eVidya channel and NCERT official YouTube channel for more informative program. Our next session is on Sahyog, where we try to provide psychosocial support to all our students and viewers out there. Me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave. Namaskar.